I've generated over six figures in online business in my early 20s and invested over 200,000 into the stock market. Now I'm breaking down money lessons I've learned so you can grow wealth and freedom even faster. Now in today's video, we are going to be talking about 10 silent expenses that are quietly destroying your wealth. This is no joke. Now these are dangerous for sure and can go by from days to years and add up to thousands of dollars. So let's get into it. Number one, unclaimed employer money. Now, a lot of employers, what they do is they match the amount that you would invest into a retirement account. So traditionally, these are Roth IRAs or 401ks. And what they do is if you put in maybe 5% of your paycheck, what they'll do is match that amount. So usually you can set aside a certain amount of money for retirement, right? So this is basically free money that you could be getting and investing every single paycheck. And this same thing goes for things like health savings account, which you can put money away and that is not taxed, that you can put towards maybe doctor's appointments, things of that nature, right? So you even get sometimes discounts as well. Now, this is a huge missed opportunity for people because think about the implications of not putting money into your retirement and literally getting free money. There's no other place where you're literally going to get a match that's going to provide you free money into your retirement, right? We know pensions are a thing of the past. So to have a vehicle that can either delay your taxes or you have tax savings, right? And put away money for when you get older. And of course, obviously with retirement accounts, they do have penalties if you touch the money a little bit earlier, but that's free money that you're literally getting to retire. And trust me, when you get that retirement age, you will thank yourself for contributing to that employer match, right? And this is so much money that you would miss over time, right? The implications here of how much you would miss would be insane, right? The numbers to just not invest and get something for free is crazy. Number two, forgotten subscriptions. Now, everyone, including myself, can sometimes be a victim of this, right? And you sign up for something, man, maybe it's a streaming service, maybe it's anything, right? There's so many different subscriptions out there, maybe for a software or something like that. And you just, you kind of get lazy. You don't look at your credit card statements too often. And you think it's kind of harmless, but these small subscriptions add up over time, right? And you can easily spend thousands annually on subscriptions, right? And especially as the cost of some of these subscriptions, Netflix, Hulu, even software as well, a lot of these things continue to add up and increase over time. And most people don't even notice them because they look so small. But think about how much you could be spending if you just have a subscription that's maybe $100. That could be over $1,000 annually. And if we multiply that times maybe a few subscriptions over time, man, you are talking about thousands and thousands of dollars that you're just giving away. And it might not even be something that you use. So you got to check your subscriptions. Don't let them go unchecked or else you're losing. Number three, inflation on idle cash. Now, this is something I personally had to learn as well, right? There is no such thing as saving. You have investing or you can lose, right? And think about it, right? Interest, of course, the interest rates change over time, but the majority of bank accounts out there, especially a lot of these ones that have big names, I'm sure Chase, Bank of America, all of these huge accounts, probably even Wells Fargo as well, they literally have barely any interest you're gaining on your money. So think about that. If inflation rate is 3% and you're getting 0% interest on your money, or maybe 0.1, your money is literally being devalued while it sits in a bank, and while the banks are doing what? They're taking your money and loaning it out to different people. So you have to be very careful about just leaving your money in a bank account. What would be a much better route is to go and invest your money into the stock market, into maybe mutual funds or index funds, and that could for sure get you on average, right? The stock market has a return of maybe 7 to 8%. And this would for sure get you a better rate of return. You'd be able to beat out inflation versus just keeping it in a traditional bank account. And at the least, what you would want to do is open up a high yield savings account where right now you can find certain ones that have percentages for around 4% that you can go and get that money completely for free, right? So take advantage of those. Next, we have the true cost of cars. Now this is a hot topic right here because of course cars are one of those things that everyone needs, right? You think about transitioning from point A to B. You're trying to get around from point A to B. And cars are just one of those things. They look nice. It's a status symbol as well when people see you driving them. So you have to be careful here, right? But think about what type of cost you have with cars, right? So you have depreciation. When you drive that car off the lot, it is worth less than what you paid for. That's automatic, right? And of course, the more miles you put on there and the condition the car is in, it can vary. Then insurance, right? So if you're a younger person, your insurance is probably going to be a bit higher. If you have a full family, your insurance is going to be a bit higher. And even repairs as well. Now, just in maintenance overall, the average cost of maintaining a car is around $10,000 annually, right? So you have to be careful when you get a car, and you have to realize that there are going to be other costs than just how much the car actually is. And even talking about car notes as well, that's another payment that, I mean, it could literally double your cost of living, right? A lot of times you could have people that are paying, for insurance plus a high car note, and that can easily double your monthly cost. And man, it's going to be a tougher financial situation because when your cost of living goes up, again, you want a huge gap between your cost of living and what you're actually making. And the smaller that gap is, trust me, the more pressure you're going to have on yourself and even stress financially. And remember, these are depreciating cars, so you have to keep that in mind. Number 5, food delivery and takeout. Of course, right, every now and then, definitely not a problem, right? Getting food delivery or takeout, for sure, not an issue. But when you continually do this over time and you choose this convenience over actually saving and maybe investing some of that money, convenience is a premium. Let's be honest, right? So even in a small amount, you can spend thousands of dollars with these extra fees, especially with things like Uber, DoorDash. Man, all of the costs that they have on here is insane. There are so many different costs that they have with these type of things. So you have to be careful, right? The costs are crazy, right? They have all of these service fees. So ordering it may seem small, but over time, if you're spending, $30, $40 and you do that multiple times per week, man, we're easily talking about thousands of dollars adding up very quickly. Now, yes, you have to eat, but make sure if you're going for that and you're going to be ordering food and doing that consistently, it's in your budget so you can account for it and you don't just wake up one day and realize you spent, thousands, 5,000 on food. Now, if you're watching this, you want financial freedom with your money. And one of the best ways I have reached and was able to get some sort of freedom is through YouTube. Now, I put together some resources showing exactly how I built and generated different YouTube channels. The link is in the description. Click down below. Number 6, lifestyle creep. Once your income goes up, what almost 90% of people do is they end up matching their income with their cost of living, right? Lifestyle inflation. And it's hard to avoid because so many people do it, right? You look to your left, you look to your right, people have the latest cars, clothes, jewelry, right? They look like they're winning on the outside. And especially if you're in an environment that's competitive, you're in New York, you're in LA, you're in all these other places, man, it just looks like people are winning. But when you really sit down and take a look at it, man, people are not doing as well as you think they are, right? And even apartments as well. You can easily spend a ton of money on apartments or even houses that you can't afford. And think about how much stress that is going to cause you, right? So be careful of lifestyle inflation, right? And over time, you literally can stay stuck at the same net worth and the same financial position despite even having a higher income. So you don't want to continue to be stuck on that cycle, that rat race of just making more money, spending more. Because the bigger that gap is, like I said before, that will cause you to have a lot less stress. Keep it in mind. Number 7, bank fees. Now, this one, of course, is interesting because bank fees are something that some people don't even think about, right? So you go to an ATM and you take out money, and they literally charge you to take out money. It's crazy because it's yours, but of course, if you're not going to ATMs that are in branch, they are going to charge you. So be careful. Ideally, if you can avoid this and maybe go to an ATM that your bank does cover, that would be excellent. So you can avoid this cost, right? It's literally, they're just taking money on top of what you have in your bank account, right? And even things like overdraft fees as well. And this is really a money management problem too, because overdraft is basically when you take more money out of your account than you actually have. Now, this is dangerous because, of course, your account can go into the negatives, especially if you don't have any other accounts within that bank account that you have. And it can just be a huge problem. You can run into more debt, and that's absolutely not what we want, right? You're literally giving money away to them, especially if you had the money to pay for it in the first place. And if you don't, right, you shouldn't be spending that money. And what happens is then you could go, right, you're in trouble with the banks, then you have credit card debt, and it almost just snowballs even more, right? And these fees, right, all of this stuff is literally things, if you have correct money management, that you don't have to run into. And the majority of people have more of a spending issue than they do an income issue. Number 8, unused memberships. The gym is the biggest one because so many people, right, it's January. You could even say December, and people go ahead and they sign up for the gym. They're like, all right, I'm going to get my body in shape, all of that type of stuff, right? Even online services as well, maybe different clubs that you're part of, could be country clubs, anything like that, and you don't go. Now, these, of course, you auto pay them every single month, and a lot of times you forget they even exist. And over a year, man, you've thrown away hundreds and thousands of dollars on these different memberships. And especially gyms, because people don't use them that often. Now, of course, man, you can work out anywhere. You don't necessarily need a gym. I'm a huge calisthenics fan. You can do body weight exercises, all of this type of stuff. You can walk, right? There are so many other options. Jump roping. You don't necessarily need a gym membership. And if you're going to have it, please go. Now, of course, this is a health investment as well. It's definitely important to exercise, but man, you have to be careful with that one. Now, number 9, credit card interest. Man, and this is a dangerous one. Now, credit card interest basically means that you're carrying over a balance, right? Pretty much what happens to people is they'll buy a credit card, they buy things that they can't afford, and then they pay the minimum payment on the balance monthly. And what happens is you're going to be paying interest on this money. A lot of times people run into a snowball effect where it may start out small, but they keep spending more and more. And these credit cards know that. And that's why they allow you to spend on these things. And when you get into credit card debt, man, it is going to be a nightmare for you. A lot of stress as well, right? It's literally compounding against you. And a lot of times the interest that you'll pay on these credit cards is insane if you're paying the minimum amount. So you really want to be paying off your credit cards in full every month, right? It's literally one of the fastest ways to keep you broke. Watch out for it. Number 10, taxes you don't plan for. Now, of course, we talked about having emergency fund, which isn't super important. But not adjusting for taxes or accounting for what you may have to pay at the end of the year is huge, right? People get these tax bills all of the time that they didn't expect. And if you don't have money saved, you literally could be in a situation where you're going to be in trouble with the government. And that's the last thing you want, right? And especially for people who are self-employed as well, you have to put money aside. And a lot of times, right, money is not being taken out of the income that you're generating. So you have to be careful to put money aside to be able to pay taxes at the end of the year. And of course, a lot of times you have to pay quarterly payments as well, right? But taxes, for a lot of people, forget this, sometimes are even the biggest expense that you have. So it's important to speak to tax professionals, maybe hire someone that can save you money on taxes. So again, you don't have to worry so much about it, but you're going to the right people that have that information that you need. Now, if you enjoy learning about money and finances and want to learn more, click this video on the screen now.